This is Taylor Sparks, the Riley Green Fitness Examiner. Joining us today is Jeremy Litchfield, the founder and chief pace setter at Atayne, a recycled and athletic apparel line for both men and women. Started in 2007 and based in Brunswick, Maine, they also have a program that you can recycle your old outdoor and athletic gear. Jeremy, thank you for taking the time to speak to Examiner.com.
Great, thank you.
So let's get started with our questions. From what I understand, you were inspired to start your company because of a red performance shirt that you wore on a really hot and humid day. What happened while wearing that red shirt?
Yeah, it was a new shirt that I had bought, and I washed it a couple times before I wore it. But I was just going out for a run and started to sweat, and noticed that dye from the shirt was starting to trickle down my shorts. And so I was like, oh, whatever. And I just kept running. And at the end of the run, I was literally from the neck down just covered in red dye. It had stained my socks and my shoes, and kind of left me wondering, what sort of chemicals are in this dye that's being spread all over my body, and this is what I can see. So, I started to do some research and realized that the whole apparel and textile industry is just it's very harsh on the environment, and also a lot of chemicals are used that are known to be hazardous to humans, but they're still legal. And I just realized that the way this is all being done is wrong, and I needed to find a better way to do it. So I quit my job and launched Attain.
Oh, wow. So, what led you from the very beginning to decide that the entire company was going to be organic, natural, and triple bottom line?
It's just that's something I had always known since college, that I wanted to start a company that was dedicated to more than just generating profit. When I was in college, I read the book by the founders of Ben and Jerry's, and it opened up my eyes to the fact that business is actually probably the most powerful change or machine for driving positive change. And I made the decision that, as opposed to being a teacher, I wanted to get into business and eventually start a company that was driven by values. And when this happened, I was like, this is my opportunity. Here's my opportunity to combine my passion for running with my passion for wanting to change the world. And it just happened. All came together.
Wonderful. So, was there one thing that all of the other organic and natural apparel companies were doing that you decided to do differently?
Well, I think there are three key things. To tell you the truth, number one is we're dedicated to 100% recycled or organic content. There really aren't any companies that have made that full commitment. We're also dedicated to 100% domestic manufacturing. That's straight down from the production of the yarn to the cut and sew of the garments. Everything is done in the U.S.
Great.
And we also require third-party certifications for our materials to make sure that they're free of harmful chemicals that are known to be harmful to human health. And some companies do some of them only do some of them part way. But as far as I've come across, we're the only company who's completely dedicated to all three.
Wonderful. That's great. So, in the beginning, what roles did you take on to get the business up and running?
Every role. I play, and it still continues to this day. I lead product development,
Hmm.
oversee production and manufacturing, and the head person. Still am very involved in accounting and finance,
Okay.
and even I do end up find myself doing some graphic design. It's just every day is a little bit different. But now I'm focused primarily on sales and product development and production are the kind of really the key areas that I'm oversee. And I've finally been able to pull in some people to help me
Yay.
out.
So many hats to wear, huh?
Yeah.
So people can send in their old beat up t-shirts and their outdoor gear. Now, why did you start that, and what are you doing with all their old stuff, Jeremy?
Yeah, I started it, and we're not the first to take back clothing.
Right.
Companies like Goodwill and Salvation Army
True.
have been recycling clothing for years. Patagonia has their garment recycling program,
Hmm.
and my goal was, if we're going to put more stuff out there, we need to make sure that we're helping to prevent stuff from going into landfills. And so from the start, I wanted to have a program where people could actually recycle the stuff they didn't want. And
Okay.
our program is a little bit different. We actually give people a financial incentive for recycling their stuff. So
Mhm.
if someone sends us a shirt, for every shirt they send us, we send them a $5 voucher towards the purchase of a new Attain item.
Oh, very
And
nice.
when we receive the apparel, it what we do with it depends. Some of it, to tell you the truth, is still in very good shape. It's just
Mhm.
people don't want it anymore.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, we'll end up donating it to a thrift store or Goodwill or something like that because it can still be used.
Mhm.
In other cases, we try to find ways. Are those materials can they be used in a different product? Can a shirt be made into a bag? If
Okay.
it can't be used, they go off and they actually get recycled by facilities that might process bulk materials for creating stuffing or other type of materials. But like I said, our goal is to make sure that we go by the three R's. First, we want to first we look to reduce, then we reuse it, and then we recycle it.
Wonderful, great. So now, what have you learned most about running a triple bottom line apparel company over these past 5 years?
What have I learned most?
Mm.
I think the key is that if you do it in the right way, you actually have advantages over other companies, and for a variety of reasons. Is number one, I'm definitely yes, I want to make money from Attain, and that's important
Mhm.
to me. But I am driven so much more by so much more than just the dollar. And we launched during one of the very toughest economies that
Yes.
we've ever had since really the Great Depression. And to this day, I still don't collect a paycheck from Attain. I
Okay.
funnel everything back into the growth of the company,
Mhm.
and to be able to maintain that passion for that long of a time, 5 years without
Yeah,
drawing salary, you can't do that unless you have a tremendous amount of passion for what you're doing, and that passion is really the fact that we're driving positive change in the environment and inside
that's right.
society in general. So I think that's really one thing that's come to me is that being a triple bottom line company, you get a little bit more passion out of yourself and your employees towards
Mhm.
really growing the company.
Great. So now, are you a consumer of all organic and natural products? Your food, your body products, and all of your clothing?
Um, as much as we can be, my
Mhm.
wife and I very live a very minimalist lifestyle.
Okay.
Here I am. I have an apparel company, and I don't know the last time I actually bought a new piece of clothing. So
Okay.
we are avid thrift store shoppers for when it comes to clothing. When
Mhm.
it comes to food, we actually between where we are in my parents' house, we try to grow a lot of our own food, everything from
Really?
kale and mushrooms and blueberries, and we shop at the farmers market. And some
Yeah.
of the stuff I can't say is certified organic, but it's
Sure.
local, and the farmers are using organic practices. It's just not
Mhm.
certified.
That's right.
But we when we shop at a regular store, we always look for all natural stuff. Burt's Bees, Seventh Generation,
Right.
Method. Those are some of our favorite brands.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we make sure that what we're doing, we're really trying to, and we also look for domestically made products. I mean, we're doing some work on our bathroom, and we're wanting to find actually faucets that were made in the U.S. and trying
Yeah.
to really minimize our impact in any way we can.
Isn't that great? Yeah, send me some of those blueberries from Maine. I know they're really good.
Oh yes, they are.
So, with all of the hours and all the responsibilities as the chief pace setter, what are you doing to keep your mind and your body healthy and sane with so much you have to do?
It's running is my release. It's
Hmm.
it's just it's nice that my job actually in a lot of ways forces me to run. If I was out of shape, and here I am with a running and cycling apparel company, I don't think people would have much respect for me. So it's we spend a lot of time running, cycling, hiking, and just enjoying the outdoors,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
kind of ultimately we look at Attain as more of a community of people who are passionate about the environment and driving positive change and just being active
Yes.
into the endurance lifestyle. And we try and live that life as much as we can.
You're looking good. You're looking good. So Atayne is, speaking of community, is very involved in the community. With I know you have the Trash Runners group.
Yep.
Where did you learn your leadership skills?
I don't know. I just who knows? I've always been from day one really kind of a literally a run before you walk type person.
Okay.
Um, my mom swears that I actually ran before I walked. She put me down at a store and I was just holding on to a shopping cart and I took off running down the aisle and I was about 10 months and kind of haven't looked back from then. But when I was growing up, I started playing organized sports when I was probably four.
Hmm.
And, from soccer, baseball, basketball. And I've always just, I think, that helped to instill a lot of leadership skills into me and just wanting to, my drive. I'm an extremely competitive person,
Okay.
but more competitive with myself than other people. And I think that's just where it comes from.
Nice, nice. So, Jeremy, we're down to the final four, what I call my four semi-random questions.
Okay.
Tell me about your proudest personal achievement.
My proudest personal achievement.
Mm.
There's, at this point, it's either, well, number one is getting my wife to marry me.
Okay.
I could not be any happier with that. But other than that, it's really, launching Atayne and growing a company that
Hmm.
every day I feel extremely proud about what we're doing.
Really nice. Title of last book read.
My last book read. What was my last book read? I think it was I forget the name. Run. It's a book on natural running, and of course, I can't remember the title. It was written by the founder of Newton Shoes. But
Okay.
right now I'm reading a book by it's about the history of the English language in the U.S. and I'm a little bit through. It's written by Bill Bryson, who's a very funny author.
Really?
So those are the two books that was the most recent one. That's the one I'm in right now.
Okay, I can look up the one on the owner of the Newton shoes. Two non-family members that you admire.
Wow, there's a lot. We definitely Gary Erickson, the founder of Cliff Bar.
Oh yeah.
I just I kind of idolize him and everything that he's done. And I'd have to say there's a young girl in Connecticut named Kennedy Snyder who
Uh-huh.
is she's has spinal cord cancer. She's
Mm.
11 years old now. She's had it since before she was two. And
Mm.
I've never seen anyone who, I mean, I've never seen anyone with so much energy and love of life. And the only thing she's ever known is that she's had cancer. And
Wow.
it's amazing to see someone who has gone through so much adversity and that she's still passionate and the greatest person you could ever imagine.
Wow. And then finally, if you weren't in the recycled apparel business, what career would you have?
I hope that I would be a rock star, someone
Okay.
like Eddie Vedder.
You are a rock star.
Yeah, I just can't sing. That's the only issue.
I always tell people I'd be a great singer if it wasn't for my voice, you know.
Exactly.
Well, Jeremy Litchfield from Attain Apparel Company, I thank you for taking the time to speak to Examiner.com. We will follow you as you make greater success and make good changes and big changes in the world. Thank you so much for your time today.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.